If pressure makes you sound dumber than you actually are, this video will expose what's really sabotaging you and show you how to keep your authority when the stakes are high. I recently watched Carlos Alcaraz's documentary on Netflix, and one moment got my attention fully. This guy has insane talent. He has the perfect technique in each hit, and he has years of hardcore training behind him. And then in extremely important matches, which are very high pressure, he collapsed. He explained this as something would shift inside of him that would pull him away from the game, and no matter how hard he tried, it just wasn't enough. Now, this is where it gets interesting. He didn't suddenly forget how to play tennis, but under pressure, he stopped playing like the champion he is becoming, and he started playing like the version of himself that still doubts, the version that rushes, and the version of him that just tries to survive the moment. So Carlos didn't have a skills problem. He actually had an identity problem. And this isn't just about elite athletes. The same thing I see happening to high-achieving, ambitious people every single day. You can be brilliant in what you do. You can be experienced and very well prepared and still freeze in a presentation, simply just completely lose your clarity when the pressure goes up. For example, a situation when that manager you're so scared of appears in the meeting and they are listening to you, and then your status and your respect is on the line. In these moments, you don't lose your language, but under pressure, you fall back to your default role, to an autopilot that you simply cannot control in the moment. It just takes over. The real difference between average communicators and exceptional ones is not talent, it's not knowledge, and it's not even experience. It's who they become when the pressure hits. The best athletes, the best performers, the best actors, they don't just train their skills, they train the identity that holds under pressure. Novak Djokovic has stated multiple times that he spends just as much time training his mental strength just as he trains his physical strength. In a recent podcast with, I believe it was Jay Shetty, Novak said that our subconscious mind, aka our default identity, controls our actions, and this means it controls our performance and how we show up under pressure. Actually, who do we show up as? Now, you may be wondering, how does this relate to speaking? Listen, in almost every high pressure conversation or presentation or even a meeting, the same thing happens to professionals, and I see it every single day with my clients. You don't suddenly become stupid. You don't forget your English. You don't lose your expertise. What you lose is access. You lose access to the confident communicator version of you. And then you fall back into your default speaking role. Now, for some people, that role is the over-explainer. For others, it can be the people pleaser. For others, it can be the one who rushes and talks too fast and just hopes it will just be over soon. For others, it can be the one who plays small, stays vague, and just avoids saying the thing that really matters. And let me tell you something. You can take 100 more communication or English courses. You can memorize better structures. You can even learn phrases and still collapse under pressure. Why? Because pressure doesn't test your skills. Pressure tests your identity. That's why in calm and safe situations, you can access everything you've learned, right? You sound smart, and you know you do. You're clear, you're confident, you can communicate. This is what my clients tell me on a daily basis. The moment the stakes go up, either your boss joins the call or someone interrupted you, or you are requested to talk about something you didn't actually prepare, and that's the moment that you collapse. That's the version of you that was built from years of maybe wanting to be liked, or being just careful not to look stupid, or wanting to not make mistakes, or wanting to stay safe and secure so you don't show up as the clear, grounded, powerful communicator. You show up as the version of you that tries to survive the moment. You are simply just managing yourself. That's why more speaking training alone doesn't fix this, because you're not dealing with a skill gap, you're dealing with an identity gap. And let me tell you, the best performers understand this. Athletes, actors, leaders, they don't just train what they do, they train who they are under pressure. When Djokovic and Alcaraz talk about their mental training, now listen to this carefully. What they're really saying in simple terms is this: your default identity decides your behavior, and then your behavior decides your performance. So what this means is if your default identity under pressure is the careful one, or the anxious one, or the one who doesn't want to mess up, then normally no amount of techniques will save you in the moment that actually matters. Now let's consider this scenario. You're presenting to a senior leadership when a question pops up and it catches you off guard. Now, despite having deep expertise in your subject, your mind suddenly goes blank. And then what happens in our physiology, maybe your heart will start to race, your voice will decrease, and what follows is a response below your capabilities. And then later, you wonder what the heck happened to your usual competence. Again, your knowledge did not fail you. It was your identity running an old and familiar program that was maybe established decades ago, maybe during a childhood embarrassment moment. And now it triggers automatically in high-stakes situations. This is why all of the clients that I work with say the same exact thing. It feels like in that high-stress situation, I forget everything that I've practiced or that I've learned, and I feel like I'm not present in my body. Now, if we go back to the story about Alcaraz, we have the same situation here. Now, let me give you another example. I was recently working with a client. He's a senior product director, and he was extremely good in small meetings. His communication style was very clear, decisive, and persuasive. And when he came to me, I was like, do we need to work together? Because I think you're perfect. But hear me out. In board review meetings with CEOs, he turned into a completely different person. He was over-explaining, he was rushing, and he was actually drowning his own point in details, unnecessary details. So under pressure, he slipped into his old default role, the one who's proving he is doing enough work. Not to mention, he used to spend days over preparing. And then he kept sliding into the default role with every meeting and feeling completely let down and disappointed in himself later. So what we did is we didn't fix the technique. We didn't work on the communication or the language. We trained a different identity. We trained the decision maker, not the explainer. He practiced literally entering meetings with a systematic approach that triggered high pressure, and he practiced this desired identity that he wanted. I cannot even tell you that within a few months, his communication with the same board members dramatically improved, that they even commented that he had developed this excellent executive presence. What's the lesson? The lesson in all this is that when you hit a wall in your communication skills, where there is a big gap between your knowledge, your expertise, and your skills, and how you show up in those critical conversations, that gap almost certainly is in your identity. Which brings us to the real question. Okay, Maria, how do I start showing up as the version of myself that can actually perform when it counts. Not in isolation, but in real conversations, in real meetings, in real pressure. Now, I will tell you what the answer is not. The answer is not try harder. It's not prepare more. It is to retrain your default role, to stop rehearsing only what to say and to start training who you are when you say it. Now, there are 3 steps I guide all my clients toward. Step number 1 is crucial. Step number 1 is building awareness. You want to identify your triggers. Really sit down and write them down. Each negative thought that you caught before or after a high pressure conversation, I want you to start documenting it. This will show you your patterns that trigger an immediate defensive posture and get you sliding into that default role. So when you start writing them down, you will have clarity. Because in order to change something, we first need to see it. So take a few minutes before high pressure meetings to notice how you feel in your body, what your physical sensations are. Are your hands sweating? Is your heart racing? All of these things are cues of your patterns. Step number 2 is pattern interrupt. Then once you see the patterns and you're becoming more and more aware of them, you want to train yourself to interrupt them. This can be anything from grounding yourself, taking 3 or 4 deep breaths and saying to yourself, you got this, but say it out loud. I have one of my clients, he wrote on a sticky note and said, breathe, God damn it. And this dramatically helped him to stay grounded throughout the entire presentation. And step number 3 is intentional reconditioning. Step number 3, you cannot miss it. You want to mentally visualize yourself succeeding in exactly the situation where your identity sabotages you. This is mental exercise, and I call this predict the scenario. So you want to sit down for a few minutes every day and predict everything that might happen in that scary meeting that triggers you. I tell my clients, literally imagine that scary boss asks you a question you didn't expect and narrate out loud what you will do. Act the scenario out loud. Once you do it in a low-stakes situations, when you're relaxed and at ease, you will be able to remember that same feeling in that high-pressure moment, and you will be able to adjust your action. Another thing I coach my clients to do is to actively document moments of success, no matter how small it is. So each time you feel proud of yourself, each time you communicated and used your voice, you want to collect and remember those feelings. When you do it enough times, that negative programming will start to weaken. Like Lao Tzu said, if you correct your mind, the rest of your life will fall into place. Now, if you recognize yourself in any of these stories, it means you don't have a knowledge problem. You have an identity under pressure problem. That's the exact work we do inside my community. We don't just talk about confidence, we actually train it under pressure with real feedback. Guys, I cannot even describe the transformations and breakthroughs that happen inside on a daily basis. So if you're tired of knowing you're better than how you show up in those critical moments, and you want to start building an identity that actually holds when it matters, that actually holds under pressure, you should come and join us. I'm going to leave the link in the description. And hey, if you do, don't come to learn more. Come to become someone different under pressure. And until the next video, I wish you nothing but success. Cheers.